but I decided to see one today and the other one tomorrow because it's going to be at the theater for a while. And I got home and I'm tired, so you're getting this one review, and then later tonight you'll get a noir review. Um, the movie I saw that I decided to stay and see was The Edge of 17, which was written and directed by Kelly Fremon Craig. This was her first uh, film as a director. She wrote Postgrad, which is a movie I saw when it was new, 2009, that I thought was absolutely a piece of shit. Now, I know that often what starts out as a good script, once it goes through the sausage machine, can end up being a bad film. This happens. So, knowing that this was the same writer of a film that I really, really hated, I was like, I'm gonna go for it because I really love Hailee Steinfeld and I love Woody Harrelson, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. And it got really great reviews. I think it's at like 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. So pretty much everyone was like, this movie's great. So I went and saw it, and it actually is really good. It's very honest look at, there's a cat's butt. It's a very honest look at the angst of being a teenage girl, which I saw several films last year that explored, and I think the true angst of teenage girls are not often done well. And you get a lot of growing of or coming of age from the point of view of teenage boys. There's probably for every one movie that's really truly about a teenage girl and with a true portrait of a teenage girl, as opposed to just like the girl being the center but being like not like anybody you've ever met. It's probably 1 in 10. This film felt real. I felt like the angst that she went through felt real. That horrible feeling when you lose your only friend, and maybe you're not quite sure that it was worth the fight, but at the same time you think you're right, so you don't make up with the friend, and that really resonated. I was like, I have been there. I have been that alone. I have broken up with my friend like that, not over them dating my brother, but like I know the feeling, and it felt so real, and the fighting with the mom and the fighting with the brother, it all felt really, really real. And I liked that. I don't remember seeing in the trailers. This is like slight spoiler. I know in the trailer they really show you like the guy that she has a crush on. And you think that's going to be a main plot point, and it really isn't. It kind of is, but it really isn't. The main sort of love story, if you will, is actually her and her friend who is sitting next to her in one of her classes. His name is Erwin. He's played by newcomer Hayden Setso, and he likes her and is very awkward about trying to like ask her on a date and how her day is and all kinds of things. And that was so sweet and wonderful to see, and how she had this sort of set idea of like who this other guy was, and she had these set ideas about who her brother was and all of this stuff. And as the film goes on, she sort of learns that a lot of her ideas about people, from her brother to her best friend to her mother to this guy who has a crush on her to the guy she has a crush on, all of her ideas of what any of it is just not quite right, and it actually takes effort and time to learn people. Oh, and her teacher, played by Woody Harrelson, like every preconceived notion she has of all of these people based on her minimal effort to get to know them turns out to be wrong when she actually gets to know them. And I think that's a wonderful lesson, that you kind of have to try if you want relationships with people, and that includes friends and your family members. And as I think a lot of teenagers end up in that really self-centered spot, and it's hard to pull yourself out of that. So I thought this was a great sort of look at that, and how to try to force yourself out of your own little bubble. Filmed in Canada, set in Oregon. Canada, I guess, looks like Oregon. I don't know. Doesn't look like the part of Oregon that I used to go to, but I used to go to the crappy southern eastern part of Oregon, which is not the lush, beautiful part of Oregon everyone thinks of. So I thought this was a great film. It was released wide. It's the final wide release film directed by a woman this year. So if it's in a theater near you, please, please put your money where your mouth is and go see this film, because if you want to see more films by women, specifically more films released by the studios, wide release, you have to go see the films that are being released. If you didn't see this film, if you didn't see Bridget Jones, if you didn't see Kung Fu Panda, if you didn't see, I think the other wide release that came out this year, there was another one, Money Monster. Like, if you didn't see these films that got the wide release, and then you complain that they're not films being made by women by the studios, you are not helping. The only way you as a consumer can get the studios to hire women is to put money towards the projects when they do hire women. Because that's what they look at. They look at those dollar margins and they say, oh, look at these films directed by women. They didn't do well. This investment is not worth it. The only thing you can do as a regular ass moviegoer is to put your money towards those women and say, no, I do support these women. I do want you to make films or hire women to make these films. So this is your last chance this year to vote with your dollars. And I really, really hope you do. This is a great film. It deserves your money. It's underperforming at the box office. It's unfortunate that it's opening up against Fantastic Beasts and the wide release of Moonlight and some other things. Fantastic Beasts, people are going to go see that no matter what. Moonlight's a beautiful film. I'm glad more people are getting to see this, but it's just so important. If you want to see parity in film directors in studio features, you have to see the studio features that are directed by women. You just have to. That's the end of the line. So now that I've lectured you, you should go see this film. It's written and directed by Kelly Fremon Craig. It's The Edge of 17, and it is delightful.